Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Katherine Economou, and it's my joy to welcome you this morning to the Center for Spiritual Living, Temecula Valley. I need to let you know we've been having some technical difficulties this morning, and so I'm going to ask you to bear with us as we try to work this out. We're moving into our new system that's going to allow us to move towards being in person and live stream at the same time. And so this is our first up and running experience of it, and so we're so grateful that we are able to start to have some people in person, which we are so thrilled. And I'm going to ask them to make some noise to let you know that they're really here. We have members of our board and our practitioner corps and our choir here today because it is a special day, isn't it, John?
Is it? I guess.
I think it is. Let's say good morning to our artistic director, John Foltz. We're so glad.
Good morning.
And I'm also joined by our prac of the day, who you cannot see, our practitioner of the day, Charlene Kussner, who's here with us, and you will see her very soon, and you may have seen her on our meditation. So I think we are up and running. I think that the live stream is working, and so let's get going.
It appears that it is.
All right, great.
Join me in coming together for an invocation. For truly we are one. There's nothing outside of God. And so I know right here, right now, that the love, the power, the presence that I call God is here. It is now. It is weaving itself in and through all aspects of this life. It is revealing itself in all form, all personality, and I call it love. And so I know that I am this love right here, right now, and as I know this for myself, I know this for each beloved here and everywhere. Beautiful representations of love. And so I bless this time this morning, this divine communion where we gather to celebrate, to be inspired, and to love deeper, to recognize the truth of our being. I call it good and very good, knowing that the message delivered by Reverend Katherine is beautifully received. The music and the song from John Foltz is delivered in that beautiful, radiant, unique expression that he is, and we celebrate him in all of his beingness. And so I just say thank you for this time. I call it good. I allow it to be, and so it is.
Thank you, Charlene. Thank you, John. Yay. Once again, good morning, everyone. The Center for Spiritual Living is a inclusive, affirming, welcoming spiritual community. And we believe that the divine presence is alive in all beings everywhere. And we are connected at the core in that presence of love that we call God. And so it's in that sense of love that I welcome you this morning, whether you're just stumbling across us for the first time or whether you've been a long time participant here. Just feel our warm warm cyber embrace to you across the airwaves here as we are sending out our best wishes for a joyful day together in community. And we have learned over the last year that community does not necessarily mean just being in person, although we like it that way. But the love that is shared in this spiritual family is so powerful and so moving, and so we are including you in that this morning. And we, so this is a special day. It's our last day with our artistic director, John Foltz, after 12 years. And I was thinking about it as we're moving into, and it's Memorial Day weekend. I hope everybody is enjoying the gateway to the summer here. But, when we were doing service, just you and me at my house back during COVID last year, we got into the habit of doing the Reverend Katherine and John weather report. And I thought that would be a nice way for us to revisit one more time because,
Absolutely.
it's Memorial Day weekend. So how's it going for you weather-wise this weekend, John?
It's going good. It's a little warm.
Yeah?
Yeah, a little warm.
Has it's been clearing over here where you are?
It's been pretty clear, yeah.
Yeah.
How about down?
Well, I'm over the hill in Fall Grove. I'm over, and
That's funny.
I am moving over the hill actually next week. That's
Next week.
great. Okay, but I live up over the hill in Fallbrook, and so it's been cloudy. We've had that May gray for a while. The coast has been sucked in, but by the end of the day, we start
Yes.
getting it. So
yeah.
I was thinking of you because John, we have our meetings on Zoom, and John's office is in his garage. I hope I'm not sharing too much, but so I figured this is the time where it starts to get
Warm.
a little much. Don't have meetings after 12 in the
No,
garage.
no, it's not so. It's warm. I don't need the space heater.
You don't need the space heater
I don't need
anymore,
the
which
space
means we're
heater.
moving into a new season. So I know I'm taking this a little bit too far, but the idea is that summer's coming, right? We can feel it coming. The
For
heat
sure.
is coming, and
Sure.
it's always such a joyful time of year as we move into that. Maybe a little bit more freedom, a little bit more beach time, a little bit more outdoors.
Yes.
Or maybe we've been outside and we're coming in, but okay, I'm not going to split hairs on it. But anyways, enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. We're really excited to have some lovely weather because, of course, it's Southern California, and that's the joke of this, is that we always have lovely weather, so there is no weather report. There is no weather report. But with that, I'm going to invite Charlene to come up with you. I think you've got a congregational song for us.
We do, absolutely. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Rise up this morning. Sin, this is my message to you.
Yay! Oh, the energy of having people in the room is so great. Yes. Oh, I'm so excited. Tiptoe. We're tiptoeing back. We're tiptoeing back. We're coming. So we have a flower donation today. It's very sweet here in honor of John and Tina. And this is from our own administrator, Diane Keys. Best wishes and lots of love. And so that's for you.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
I love succulents because they live.
Yeah, it's hard to kill them. Yeah, it's hard to kill them. And that's why I love them. So enjoy. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So we are going to move into our moment of gratitude. So I'm going to invite you to just get comfortable where you are. If you're comfortable putting your hands on your heart. And as we're celebrating this Memorial Day weekend, this is a time for honoring all of those brave men and women who gave their lives, that ultimate sacrifice for their beliefs and for our freedom. And so today I thought that we would just pause and allow our moment of gratitude to be focused on this. Let us realize the choices we get to make because of the country that we're living in. Let us give thanks for the opportunities and for the potential and possibility that is before us. However flawed it may be, there is still possibility and potential before us for expansion, for living in the fullness and the magnificence of life. And we can do this because of the gifts and the sacrifices of countless others. And so as we mark this moment, this Memorial Day weekend, as we begin our summer, as we spend time with our families and celebrate the light and the joy of life, let us pause in this moment and just honor those who have gone before so that we can live the lives we are living. And so taking a deep breath and just coming on back when you're ready. And I know that Memorial Day is geared towards remembering those who have lost their lives, and Veterans Day honors our veterans who are alive, who have served in the military, but I always like to honor our veterans any possible time I can. And so if you have served in one of our armed forces in the military, please know that we honor you, we celebrate you, and we're so grateful for you. Thank you so much. And now we're going to move into our time of sacred giving, and this is the opportunity that we have to come together of joint purpose, of connected purpose, to support this vision, this mission and ministry of CSL TV, of being a light of empowerment, of inspiration, of comfort, and of peace to those within our realm. And so we can only do this when we join together of single purpose to support that unfoldment. And we do that with our time, we do that with our service, with our talents, and we do that with our treasure, with our financial support. When we give to something specifically and say, I believe in that, it is giving that energy behind it. We are taught that spiritual giving is about giving to that which inspires us, that which supports us. And it's our best wish at CSL TV that we are a channel of wisdom and inspiration for you. And so we're going to invite you to join us in purpose in allowing this spiritual community to come back stronger than we were before. And we have the possibility of doing that, to be able to move forward together in a way that allows for us to have people here in the room and to have a great experience for our beloveds who aren't ready to come back in the room, but who will be staying online. We can only do that when we put our financial support towards that which we believe in. And so we invite you to join us in this sacred purpose and come together to allow for this unfoldment of this spiritual community, which I know is a God-ordained endeavor, to happen in grace and ease and in light. And so we are so grateful for everyone who continues to support us. And there's a couple of ways that you can do that. You could pop over to our website and hit that donate button. You could mail in your offering to through the mail to us, or you could call our administrator, Diane Keys. Good morning, Diane. at the office, and she could run a credit card for you. So we try to make it as easy as possible for us to work together for the greatness and the goodness of the spiritual community. And so I invite you to take your offering in your mind and in your heart, and let us bless it. Let us bless this intention, this offering that goes to support the unfoldment of this spiritual community, that expansion, creating a space for so many to see, to know, and to feel the divine. And when we do this, we make ripples of expansion and unfoldment and healing moving out across our communities. And so I bless this gift, this offering, and I give thanks for it, allowing it to be, and so it is. Please join me in saying our affirmation of abundance together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am prosperous now.
Spiritual reading for today comes from our book for this year, which is 365 Days of Richer Living by Ernest Holmes and Raymond Charles Barker. Today's reading is entitled, I am the creation of God, therefore I have nothing to fear. There seems to be strange quirks in the human mind. Whenever we look to the past, we almost always remember the great hurts and fail to recall the great joys and blessings we have once experienced. Memory, in its true spiritual sense, is the capacity to remember our origin in God and the steady unfoldment of our nature through experience. It is the ability to know again that we are created by an infinite mind and prospered in all our ways by an infinite love. It reminds us of our divine destiny to overcome all evil and to abide in all that is true and good. As we do this, all fear is removed from our thought, for there is an inner uprising of faith in ourselves and in our fellow man. The mind that created us sustains us, unfolds our good before us, and leads us in joyful ways. So let's affirm together right now. Today there is nothing to fear, for I remember that I am a spiritual being, and nothing can touch me save that which is good. No material belief or situation has power over me, for he that sent me is within me. My own divine nature repels and destroys the untruths of negation. They never have been a part of the real self, which I am. I am love. I love God and I believe in God. I recognize the divine idea which I am in the Father's mind. I am the creation of perfect God, and I fear nothing, for God is all. And so it is.
Thank you, Charlene. got your sip?
I got my sip.
You got your sip in? I always go slow, so you get out your
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Please give a warm welcome to John Foltz.
It's so weird to have people in the room.
I know, it's awesome.
It's awesome. It's awesome and weird. I know. What is the actual translation?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask me and I didn't double check it. I think it's Glory to God.
Oh, I thought it was either Glory to God or God be with us.
I think it's Glory to God. I used to know that. I should have checked it. I should have Googled it from my phone while you were singing it. I knew you were going to ask me that. Okay. Somebody can Google it and let us know what Kyrie Eleison means in Greek, please. I'm not doing my culture service here. I'm knowing it, so I'm sorry about that. So let's take a collective breath before we start. Everybody together, ready? do that again. It feels really nice. Nice deep breath. It's so good to be with you today. We're so glad that we've got all of these things working now so that we can actually be together. I'm so happy about that. Today, we're wrapping up our month, and our theme of the month is Holy, Holy Uprising. And where we've been awakening to a deeper level of spiritual expression. And today we're ending with my talk, which is Boldly Living a New Story. You know, I'm excited for the possibility of taking this concept of boldly living a new story into our consciousness. Because when we rewrite the limiting ideas that we hold for ourselves and for the people around us, we open to a whole new level of possibility in the world. More joy, more abundance, more freedom. It's a whole new life. And it takes courage and boldness. And I know that each and every one of us has it in us. I know that each and every one of you has that courage, that strength, that boldness to step into a new expression of your story. You know, I want to start by talking about the importance of story in our lives. You know, truth is, stories are integral to life itself. It's through telling stories that humans have communicated since the beginning of time. Storytelling's been around since before humans learned how to read and write. Everyday events became stories that were passed down from parents to children, from priests and scribes, told stories of a religious and spiritual nature, and leaders told heroic tales of their adventures. You know, storytelling is a universal feature of every country and every culture. It's central to our experience as humans. And the reason why it's central to our experience as humans, because we engage with each other through stories and through storytelling. We relate to other stories because we can see a little glimmer of an experience that we've had within their story. And we inevitably interpret the meaning of the stories in our lives to attempt to understand ourselves better. Now I say attempt to understand ourselves better because sometimes it's the stories that we tell ourselves and the fact that we begin to believe these stories that keeps us limited and held back from our true potential. We each have our own experience and our own perspective. And let's face it, sometimes we only see one side of a story that may have 3 sides or 5 sides. And we only see one aspect of it. Or we experience a letdown or a disappointment or something that embarrassed us, some experience that embarrassed us. And then we lump all similar kinds of experiences together and formulate a story about ourselves because of that. And then we believe it. And when we start to believe those stories, it begins to repeat and go over and over and over again. The science of mind and spirit teaches us that it's our thoughts and our beliefs that create our reality. It's through what we believe that we build the experience of our lives. So if you're telling a story about yourself and it goes unchecked, it may be the cause to the conflict or the chaos or the limitation that you may be experiencing in your world. Truth is, it's time to wake up to the truth of you and to begin to tell a new story. A bold, exciting, and expansive story about possibility and potential. A story about the magnificent life that you've come to live. I was moved by the story, I was moved by a story told by author Loveland Bettison. I'm going to grab a sip because something got stuck in my throat. It's been a while since that happened. Okay, so there's a writer named Loveland Bettison, and she tells a story of her early career. When she was in her 20s, she said, I used to watch people on the streets and in restaurants and think that their boisterous laughter and interesting conversations and their big smiles were evidence that they lived a different life than she did. She assumed that they were happier than she were, that they were smarter than she was, that she was that they were worth more than she was. And all around her was evidence of that because she didn't have a lot of money in her bank account. She drove a old beat up jalopy and she wore thrift store clothes. She'd sit in her apartment and try to imagine what it would be like to be somebody else. It was too painful to be herself. She wanted to try and be somebody else. And she wondered what it would be like to be someone who could afford those things that she wanted and to do those things that she wanted to do. And she says that she was always a dreamer, that she had big ideas and big plans, but she was never able to make any of those plans move forward because she kept telling herself the story that she wasn't good enough, that she wasn't smart enough, that she didn't have enough experience under her belt, that she wasn't eloquent enough to write in the way that she wanted to. And then all of a sudden something happened and she woke up one day and realized that she was telling herself, she was selling herself the fact that she wasn't good enough to do what she knew was her passion. And she had a choice where she was going to have to choose. Am I going to choose the story that is comfortable, but it's going to keep me small and keep me away from what I want? Or am I going to choose from my passion, the thing that is calling forth to me, the thing that wants me to express myself through it, the thing that scares the bejeebas out of me, but am I going to choose my small life or am I going to choose being who I really have come here to be? And she woke up to the fact that it's time for her to choose for herself. And her life changed over that period of time when she started to formulate a new story. And her life started to change. She started to get writing jobs and the money started showing up in her bank account. She started having the freedom to choose what it is that she wanted to spend her time doing. And she found herself in one of those cafes with boisterous laughter and deep conversations. And she realized the only thing that had been keeping her back from living the life that she knew she was here to live was herself. How many of us do that? At some point in our lives, I think we all do that. We get so comfortable with the limitation that we ignore the passion. But you know what? It's time to start experiencing the passion that's at the center of you. We are all storytellers. It's not just the poets and the writers, the screenwriters or the authors. We all have all kinds of stories that we tell. We tell stories about facts. We tell fill-in-the-blank stories. We tell make-believe stories. We tell stories about ourselves, and we tell stories about other people. My favorite is, whether we know them or not, we tell stories about people online in the grocery store. And my favorite is now, we don't do it online in Starbucks anymore, but we tell stories about the people who are in the car in front of us in the drive-through line at Starbucks, or behind us. And we just believe that the stories that we tell about the experiences that we have are true without checking them. The current state of your life is a direct result of the stories you tell yourself and what you really believe is possible for you and for others. It's not what you say is possible, but what you believe is possible deep down in your core. So there's a couple of things that happen in this process that keep us limited and stuck, and when we begin to realize this, we can start to shift it. The first one, I love this, is filling in the cracks. This is an exercise in storytelling that we do a lot, or I will admit, I have been known to do a lot. I will not claim this for you, I will claim it for yourself. I'm a recovering filler in the cracker. Oh my God.
Filler in the cracks.
Filler in the cracks. Okay, I crack filler in her. I don't know. Okay, all right, we're gonna stop. Okay, so this is what happens. When you hear a piece of a story or someone's story, right, and it may not be complete, what happens, there's details that are missing. Often we end up filling in those cracks, those details from our own perspective, without checking, without getting curious and checking about what the true situation was. We just make our assumptions and we go forward with that. We fill in the cracks from our own perspective. Now, this could be a problem if you don't know, but it can be a problem because our perspective is limited. We can never know what someone else is going through or what someone else is experiencing. We can never fully understand that. So we need to be careful when we fill in the cracks because we often ascribe our own bias, our own sense of limitation on somebody else's situation that may not be valid. So our misinterpretation of their mood, of their reaction, of their response to us, can either create more chaos or it can create a deeper connection. But it's how we approach it. If we can approach it with curiosity, with a desire in our heart to learn, to expand, then we can create a space of healing and deep relationship. But if we just fill in the cracks and say, oh, I don't know what's wrong with Reverend Katherine today, she's cranky, whatever, all of a sudden there's a judgment and a jury and a verdict and it's done. And there's no space for connection. So be careful when we're noticing what someone else's experience around us is. The other thing that happens is that our old stories keep us chained to limitations. Do you remember the last time you were at your parents' house, your childhood home? May have been a while. It's 20 years ago, 25 years ago. But the last time that I went home, I was an adult, fully launched. Is that the word? Fully launched, fully launched out in the world, in my life. And I went back to my childhood home. And I walked through the door of my childhood home, and all of a sudden, I was 12 years old. I don't know what happened to me. And I just started acting in a way that I hadn't acted in a long time. I hadn't felt her, my 12-year-old Katherine. She was Kathy. I didn't feel 12-year-old Kathy for a long time. And all of a sudden, I was reacting to things, and I was wanting certain things and disliking other things. I was like, what is this about? And not only was I acting like I was 12, but everybody around me was treating me like I was 12. And how did that happen? I hadn't been that in a long time. I hadn't experienced it at all, but I had been telling a story about who I was at that time in my life. And when I walked into that environment, that story reared its head and took control. Without checking our stories, without seeing what it is, being conscious and curious about what is alive within us, they lie dormant in wait and waiting for their chance to come back up. And all of a sudden, you're 13 years old, you're 12 years old. We have to wake up to the stories that we are still carrying around. If we don't question our old stories, if we don't get present and wake up to the stories that we're carrying around about ourselves, they're going to run unchecked. This will chain you to someone you may have been 25, 30, 40, however long ago, but you are no longer that person. When we shift the story, the limitation shifts also. You are constantly evolving. You are not the same person you were back then. So let your stories catch up to who you are now and let the old ones go. It reminded me of what William Faulkner said. He said, you cannot swim for new horizons until you have the courage to lose sight of the shore. We have to let go of the comfort of that limiting story we've been telling about ourselves for our whole entire lives in order to swim towards who we have come here to be. There's freedom in this. There's so much freedom in this. And the last one is that, have you ever had the experience where something happens, you tell a story about it, and then it keeps going around in your head over and over again. You keep telling the story about it. You keep telling the story about it. And then you keep telling the story about it again. And maybe you tell it to other people outside, but you have that conversation. You have that conflict, that interaction. You have that experience over and over and over again. Anyone, or is it just me? No, okay, good. It's just me. Okay. That's the other thing about having people in the room again. We're going to get comments. All right, it's just me then. I'll own it. All right. This happens all the time. And what happens is that story gets solidified. We get dug into it. It gets true. And truer every time we tell it. It gets so absolutely, every aspect of that story gets truer every time we tell it. We can't see beyond the story to anything else that may have been operating in the situation. We get blind to that, and then we get convinced. And when we get convinced of something, it's hard to move on it. So what this does is it cuts us off from our growth. When we do that, it affects our relationships because we're not open and able to share and to give and receive as we do with our energy and our time and our love. It challenges our connections. and our ability to see beyond our own perspective, which keeps us separate. This experience keeps us separate. So let's think about it this way. Whenever our lives change, whether it's starting a new job or a new business, trying to change a habit, letting something go that no longer serves us, or even burning the toast in the morning. I did not burn my toast this morning. But when we do that, we tell a story about it. And in that story, we might be the hero, or we might be the victim. We might be the wrongdoer, or the innocent bystander, or the observer. In our stories, we want to be the hero, but more often, we are the victim. And sometimes, just sometimes, we tell a secret story deep in our minds, only to ourselves. We tell a story to ourselves about the fact that we don't believe that we're capable of accomplishing what we want to do. These are the stories that we need to be present with, because it's time to tell a new story. That one isn't true. You are more than enough. You have more than enough support. You have more than enough capability to do what you want to do in your life. Boldly living a new story means we have to give up a lot of what we've been telling about ourselves, telling ourselves and saying the stories that we've been telling about ourselves for our whole entire lives. And so when we do this, who are we? If we give up those attachments, those beliefs, that control of our stories, who do we become? How do we create something new? Well, let me tell you, you know me. You know I'm going to have a couple of ideas about how we do this. And we do this first by waking up. We need to awaken to the fact that we're telling stories about ourselves. That's the first thing, to realize that we're doing this and actually listen to the tone of them. What kind of stories are you telling? Who are you in your stories? If you are showing up as the victim in a lot of your stories, there's a hint there that maybe there's something to look at. Maybe there's something going on in the dynamic to get curious about, which is the second suggestion I have, is for us to cultivate curiosity. And this is one of my new favorite spiritual practices. I think that when we begin to practice being curious, we start to see what we're missing. We miss a lot. We don't recognize or notice a lot of what's going on around us. But when we cultivate curiosity and presence, when we allow ourselves to be present and curious, we can start to see more. When you can ask yourself, is this really happening here? Or could something else be operating in this? It opens a door to a greater awareness and a broader perspective, which allows us to see more clearly the situations that are before us so we can respond rather than just react in that way that's uncontrolled. This reminded me, I came across another story this week that I thought was really moving. It's from the Humans of New York program, and it's a woman from Great Britain named Alicia, and she told this story about her mom. She said, my mom, who has since passed, had brain cancer. She said, I took her to all of her appointments, but I was pregnant and couldn't take her one particular day. So I had to drop her at the hospital, and afterwards she caught a taxi home. The taxi driver asked if she needed anything. She said, I do. And he drove her to her local shop. He got out, turned the meter off, walked her through the supermarket to help her grab her favorite snacks, and then drove her home. He walked her up the steps, helped her unlock the front door, and walked her in. He then carried in all of her groceries. He put the kettle on. He put the groceries away and made her a cup of tea. She described him, she said, my mom described him as a lovely brown man with beautiful, kind eyes wearing a turban, and no racism was meant. Alicia says, I'm crying typing this. So much kindness in one human, a stranger. My mom clearly looked unwell, puffy from steroids, patchy hair from chemo, and a noticeable wobbly walk. He made her day, and he allowed me to believe in people again, in the goodness of people again. Now, what would have happened if that taxi driver hadn't been curious or noticed what was going on in front of him? What if he had told a story about her that she was just a fare, that he needed to just make the money on it and get her home and get her out as quick as possible. She's got to deal with it herself. Or what if she had told the story that it was unsafe to take help and support from a young man who looked different than she did? They were not telling those stories. And a moment of magic happened because of it. That moment of kindness, of connection, that was the moment of God showing up in both of their lives. So maybe it's not about having a bold, new, big, huge adventure or story for yourself, but maybe this story, just like the lilies of the field, how they grow, neither do they toil nor spin. Maybe it's from this place, you need not toil or spin or be anxious about your life. Maybe the bold new story is just to allow yourself to be supported by the divine that loves you. Maybe your bold new story is just realizing that you are a divine ordained expression of God. And as such, you are on purpose. Maybe that story is enough to shift anything that you're holding back from. So let's give thanks for those old stories. I want to end here by saying, let's give thanks for the stories we have been telling because they've gotten us to this moment. But they don't serve us anymore. It's time to let go of the stories that are keeping us held back. It's time to let go of the stories that don't acknowledge and honor who we are now. It's time to let those go and let that be and step into the truth of who you are now and tell the story of your potential, of your possibility, and of your passion, because that is what's going to allow you to step into this next realm of expression and magnificence. I see it, I know it's possible, and this is the week that we start to do it, and so it is. Yay! Super fun. Let's welcome John Foltz back.
I see trees
reminders of our events that are going on here at CSL TV. Our book study is taking a break this week. They will be taking a week off, but coming back next week, June 9th. They meet on Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to noon, and you can contact Pam Migliosi for more information about it. Our men's ministry meets every Wednesday, both online and in person at Journey's Restaurant here in Temecula. You want to contact Reverend Michael Summers. They are a great group. I just need to say, they are a great group and are always so welcoming and wanting to share what the connections that they've been making. And so if you are a gentleman who's available on a Wednesday morning, I would strongly encourage stepping into that group. They're such a wonderful group of men and so supportive of one another. So Reverend Michael Summers can support you with that. Our Sisters in Spirit group is also another great group. I encourage you to reach out to them. They meet on the first and third Thursdays of the month. The first Thursday is on Zoom, the third Thursdays at Journey's Restaurant. And again, Pam Migliosi can help you out with that. Our Spiritual Connection at 7 series continues. 20-minute meditations at 7 a.m. Monday through Friday with our practitioners and ministers. And our CSL TV Community Connection with me happens on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. This is a time of discussion, of sharing, of spiritual practice together and prayer together. And I strongly encourage you to join us if you're able to. So that's what I've got. Ready?
Sure.
Let's take a breath. We're going to need a breath for this one.
Are you ready?
I know, that's why I'm asking. I don't know, I'm not. All right, so as we know, today is a very special day. It is the close of our tenure, of John's tenure with us as artistic director. John Foltz has been with us for 12 and a half years. He's been with CSL TV for 12 and a half years. He's been here for my whole entire time that I've been here. And so this is our celebration and our farewell to him. But first, to start, I'm going to invite our, I'm going to invite our president of the board forward. Pam Migliosi is going to come and help me do this.
Okay.
Yes. Yay. Great. All right. So we are going to stand here first and just talk about how much we love you. So John Foltz, over these years, John is his artistry, his ministry, and his love has been such a core component of our Sundays. And from the beginning, you're going to hear this quote twice today, but the first is this. St. Augustine said that a song is a prayer prayed twice. I've always believed that. And so the music component of our services allows us to really feel and touch the divine within us. And John has brought such love and such presence through his music to all the services that we've done. So John's been integral in our Sunday services, a core component to Sundays. He and I work together to create, I'm going to say countless because I can't count. Countless special services, from Thanksgiving Eves to Remembrance services to Good Friday to whatever we do, memorial celebrations, all the different kinds of things that we've done. We've created so many amazing different kinds of services. John started the choir. And supported the choir coming into being and getting up and running. And all the while, he was doing his work. He was taking his Science of Mind classes, and he was studying and becoming more conscious and connected to the spiritual principles here. And when he did that, he actually finished and became a licensed spiritual practitioner for us. So he has served as a practitioner. So not only is he artistic director, not only does he create services, not only does he do his own work, but he is here to support others in doing their work and finding their truth also. Now, once he became a practitioner, he stepped into not only doing the music, but he was facilitating our spiritual mind treatment workshops. He was a TA for many classes. He's been an integral part of this community for so long. When I showed up, you were on the board, He's done everything. We've carried chairs, we've cleaned bathrooms, we've done all of it. And still, we get the gift of the powerful, beautiful music. And so we have a couple of things to share to honor John today. One of them, because of our technical difficulties, we can't do the way that we wanted to, but we have a video compilation. We showed John, so he has seen it, but we have a video compilation of Reverend Pat Campbell and myself and a bunch of the musicians that we have on a regular basis that send their good wishes and love to John. And so we're going to post that right after the service so that you can check that out. That was really lovely.
Very sweet.
It was
really nice to see all like my friends that I haven't seen in forever.
I know, because they haven't been. Yeah,
Right?
absolutely. Yeah. And they were so wonderful. As soon as we sent the email out, they were like, yes, what do I do? How do I do it? You know, and it was really, really wonderful. So please take the time to see our beloveds honoring John, because it was really great. And now, though, we have an honoring in person.
Oh.
So we've got part of your choir here. So we're going to invite the choir to come up. And
I was wondering why so many of them were here.
I know. That's why we have
Sneaky.
people in. Got to set the stage for him.
Hey guys. Am I going to walk out of this building today?
Oh, John, you have given us a wonderful world. We love you. We love you, love you. And we thank you for your 12 and a half years of service and dedication. Thank you for your countless musical contributions, your amazing concerts, and everything that you have given to CSL TV. Creating, leading the choir, you and I spending time together in classes, going through practitioner training together.
So many classes.
My very first prayer partner.
Yes.
We love you, John.
Thank you.
We love you so much.
I love you.
And on behalf of the board, we have just a couple of special things for you. Now, this is something that when you open it, you are going to find that you are always going to have the very correct time.
Correct time.
Correct time.
Okay. All right. Let's see if I can. I've never been great with ribbons. You got that?
Okay,
Okay.
got it.
For you.
All right. Hey, since 1904, just like me.
No, that's me.
And this one, thanks for the music, your CSL TV family. Music director 2008 to 2021. How lovely, thank you.
And we have something else here for you. I'm going to show this to our...
So since we can't be in person, a lot of people wanted to send their blessings and their love to you. And so this is a compilation that another board member, Pat Clark, put together for us, which is the printout of lots of photos and messages and love letters
Oh my
to you.
goodness,
So,
there's no way I'm reading all that on camera.
No.
I will take this home and read it tonight.
But
Thank
look
you
at
so
you
much.
at the piano.
That's me at the piano. That's awesome.
How cool is
Very
that?
cool. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat Clark.
Thank you,
Yes.
Lord. Thank you, CSL TV.
Thank you,
Lord,
John.
thank you.
We love
Gotta do some
you.
hugs.
John.
Gotta do some hugs.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes. Now it's your turn. What do you want to say?
I'm going to keep it mercifully brief. I don't really have much to say. I don't know what lies in the future for anything, but what I do know is that there is good here right now. There is good continuously unfolding. And so that is my mantra for all of this. My greatest hope in this 12 and a half years, long time. I don't even remember the last time I did anything for 12 and a half years, other than, bodily functions. Seriously, I don't remember the last time I did anything for 12 and a half years. But my greatest hope as I depart this position, over the years I have felt so much love from you. And continue to feel it in this moment today, like this whole celebration. My greatest hope is that you have felt some of that coming from me too. I love you, and I hope you know that. I hope you feel that. I hope you continue to feel that. I love you. Thank you. It's been a wonderful 12 and a half years.
Absolutely. The only thing that warms our heart is to know that you're not moving anywhere.
No,
so
I'm
you're
here.
down the street.
I'm
You're
down the
not
street.
far away. So
I am.
we're so grateful.
Call me.
Yeah. So I'm going to invite my practitioners to come up. We're going to do our prayer with John in the middle, and I'm going to invite Tina to come stand next to him.
Lucky in the middle.
I didn't say that.
I know, I did.
For our prayer here, look, we've got practitioners with us. Come on over, so everybody can fit up here. Yes. And our sweet Tina,
Who are
who
you?
has also been so integral in our community, having been a board member, and she's the one who has allowed us to be online for this whole amount of time, and so we're so grateful for everything that you've done for us, and we just wish you both all well, absolutely, in what comes next. And so let's come together in consciousness here. And just breathe in the joy of this day, for the joy is the love. That love that is God expressing through each of us. That impetus for all creation, spirit in, through, and as all things. And I know it is infused in this time. For I know that there is only one power, one presence, one life, and that we are all part of this life. And so as we are all part of this one, we can never be separated, we can never be separate. And though our paths may move in new directions, the love that is the core of these connections continues to sustain, to inspire, and to support us. And so I bless this day. I bless this beloved expression of God that is John, and this beloved expression that is Tina, and know that they go forth inspired, supported, and loved, not only by the spiritual community, by the infinite universe itself, to allow for that which comes next to be rich and full of joy and magnificence. And I know for each and every one of us, as we step forth in this week, I know that we move into that time of seeing clearly and telling the story of our potential and our possibility, that we step into that next evolution of our soul to allow for that which wants to come forth freely, with light, with joy, with power, and with presence. And so surrendering any sense of limitation, surrendering all of these old stories, surrendering anything that came before that does not stand in the light of this moment, I know that we are each free expressions of light and love. And so with a grateful heart, I claim it, I hold it true, and I see it so clearly for each and every one of us. And so it is.
So it is.
Amen. And so we need John's got to go back to work.
Go back to work.